Welcome back to part 3 of Iceland. We're going to be digging deep. When deep, I mean underground and underwater. So we met our Swiss friends and we are going to visit the very busy area southwest of Reykjavik towards Grindavik. In my earlier videos, I've shown how the mid-Atlantic ridge runs onshore here and that the deep thermal mantle plumes really goose the area with a lot more volcanic activity. This geothermal energy is economically captured and pretty much affects every aspect of life in Iceland. We're going to be exploring the southwest Reykjanes peninsula area where there are 4 volcanic systems with individual characteristics and ages. We revisit the city of Grindavik, where lava flows in 2025 were only stopped at the city edge by a quickly built berm. Unfortunately, earthquake damage has prevented the city from being reoccupied. What's this though? I've just discovered in the lava. Why, it is lava crackers. And I guess these are particularly crunchy and hard. Quite good. Although the city is unoccupied, it's not closed. And there is a beautiful exhibit of photographs by Iceland's well-known photographer, Sigurdur Sigurdsson. These powerful images can be bought in a book. It's available in Grindavik. We continued on past the edge of town towards this lighthouse, which was fitting because it's a park with many pieces of ships that have sank here along the coastline over the last 150 years or so. This dirt road on the edge of town was popular with 4-wheel quads, part of a touring service I guess, and everybody seems to be headed towards town for the great fish and chips and beer in the restaurant that's still open there. Another quick visit to where the Mid-Atlantic Ridge climbs onto land, and of course where the Eurovision Saga movie set was filmed. Hot, stinking gases are never too far away, particularly if you had the extra hot salsa with that fish and chips. Geothermal energy is typically used for space heating and electricity production, but an innovative company north of here at the Blue Lagoon is using it to convert CO2 in the atmosphere into methanol, which can be used as a fuel. Against the beautiful blooming lupins and the mountains in the background lies a rather flat, featureless, lava-filled valley. But on a closer look here, there's an opening, and this takes you to the Leidarendi caves. If we were properly prepared, we probably would have had helmets and gloves and flashlights. Certainly something better than our cell phones to try to find our way, but we got in as far as we could comfortably. A metal map on the wall shows the cave system splitting into 2. I'm just pointing at, not actually touching, the delicate geological stalactites and features that are found on the walls here. I think with proper lighting, I wouldn't have taken the wrong turn down the second tunnel and immediately kind of got lost as I clambered over a collapsed section of rock. Everything went silent and nobody could hear me, and I couldn't hear anybody or see any light. Eventually I backed up and found my way out. It was pretty nerve-wracking though. As beautiful as it was, I was quite happy to be back in daylight again. The Grindavik volcanic system has a lot of surface hot springs. The heat and fumes has reacted with the rocks to create multicolored clays, forming brilliant mud pots and steaming fumaroles. Further along trend to this area are geothermal plants, which we'll look at later. But first we visit the hot geothermal valley of Leidarendi, the town with so many greenhouses in it and actually grow bananas. A 6-kilometer hike, maybe on Icelandic ponies if you're lucky, takes you up a narrowing valley. This valley is full of all kinds of little boiling mud pots and steaming fumaroles that seem to change their location over time. There's no warning signs here. The Icelanders just assume that you're going to not want to step in a hot spring. That's a bad idea. The whole valley seems to be alive with steaming springs all over the place. As we get to the top, the entire river looks like it's a hot spring. It must be incredible in the wintertime covered in snow. A boardwalk has been built along part of the river here to keep the many people from eroding the bank and turning it into a muddy mess. We saw visitors, families, picnics, music. It's obviously very popular with the locals. Well, after that big 12-kilometer hike and soak, it was great to have a traditional Nordic lunch of many kinds of pickled herring. There's so much to see and do in this area of Iceland. These 4 volcanic systems create all kinds of fascinating activities, and we're going to have a look at the last one now, specifically geothermal energy. Next to the Grindavik hot springs that we visited a little bit earlier in this video, I noticed a big drilling rig operation. This drill rig, much like a conventional oil and gas rig, is planning to drill a 4.5 kilometer well over the next 2.5 years. Drilled down and sideways at 2 kilometers at temperatures of around 350 degrees Celsius. Cold fresh water is pumped down and ultra high temperature steam returns back to the plant in insulated pipelines. We visited the Nesjavellir power plant. It's the second largest in Iceland and generates 120 megawatts of electricity. Insulated lines bring the superheated steam in to the plant. Liquid is knocked out and the dry steam pushes turbines, generating electricity for half of the greater area of Reykjavik. And the hot water is used for geothermal heating for the entire area, including keeping the streets warm and dry in the wintertime. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. It's been a lot of fun to share them with you, and I hope one day you get a chance to get to this incredible island and make your own adventure. Thanks for watching.